Hello everyone, this is Banter Bill, and welcome to Caudecus' Manor, Path 3 Dungeon Guide. Starting off, we're going to admire Caudecus' face, I guess. A bit vain, I think, having a statue of your own face in your backyard. As usual, this is not a speedrunning guide, but a guide meant for those who are new to the dungeon, or for those who need a refresher. In terms of class composition, I recommend at least one thief. And classes with reflex and blocks are also very useful in this dungeon. So, going straight in, we're going to fight our first boss. For this boss, I recommend you go completely at range. The boss has a knockdown attack if you get too close, and he can chain knock you down very easily. So if you are going to go in melee, either make sure you don't get hit, or have stability equipped. So we're just going to range these first few guys. It looks like their projectiles can be reflected as well. So I throw up a smoke screen so I don't get damaged. During this path, our whole group, it seems, gets hit by these periodic lag spikes. You may have noticed one in the beginning where my screen froze and I just got hit by one there. So excuse me and my party if we go down a lot, but lag spikes can be devastating on this path. So I just keep my distance. As you can see, the teammates that do go in close just get chain knocked down over and over again. The only times I do go in is when I have to steal, because I have to go to him if I want to steal. And I just quickly dodge out of the way when that happens. This boss is actually the same boss at in the middle of Path 2 that we skipped on the Asura parts. So this is why people don't like to fight him. In close quarters, he could really kill you.
I'm fast as the wind.
Alright, then next we're going to go to this secret hidden door on the side. For this part, I recommend that you pull the ads outside of that room. Inside the room are some turrets, including net turrets, and those net turrets are devastating. They will just keep you still, and the ads will stack condition upon condition on you. So I recommend getting out of that room ASAP. Like, I just got hit by 12 stacks of bleed there. I was lucky I was conscious of my conditions and cleared that quickly. So we just quickly kill these guys. You can use melee if you want, just again be conscious of those conditions. You can tell how annoying these net turrets are. Luckily I can warp around as a thief, but if you couldn't break those conditions, those ads would just devastate you. Alright, on this next part, I'm going to stealth our group, and we're going to go room by room. I guess you could skip this part, but I don't know, I like killing these guys. I think it's just easier. So I stealth in this room, and we're going to kill these archers. Reflex are very useful here. The archers can kill you very quickly if you don't pop up your reflex. Plus, they have that annoying evade attack, where they just periodically evade everything. Now, if you stealth into the room, you won't get hit by these flame turrets because they're facing the other way. I didn't know that at the time, so I went ahead and killed them. But if you're in the room, you should be safe from those flame turrets. So I tried to lay down my smoke screen, throwing a couple blinds and reflex in there. Alright, then I'm just going to stealth our group into the next room. Go ahead and kill these flame turrets. There aren't any bad guys in here, but if you want to use a bug, you can attack through this wall, hit two of the bad guys that are on the other side. That's what we do. If you don't want to use any exploits or anything, feel free to attack them head on. I mainly just recommend blinding and throwing down your reflex. I think all three of them are riflemen. Right, on this part you want to be careful that you don't go down the wrong way. It's not the end of the world if you do, there are just more trash mobs down there. You want to head to this button and push the button. And here we face one of the more annoying parts of this dungeon. You need to pick up a reflecting rifle from the side and reflect the projectiles back at the turrets. The timing on the reflex is a bit tricky. You want to press the button before you would normally think you would. That attack that reflects it lasts longer than you think. since there are going to be 5 people trying this at the same time, I recommend once you use your reflect attack, get to the back of the group so people know that you're not going to be the next one reflecting these attacks. Now you need to use the guns to reflect these projectiles. If you put a regular feedback on these turrets or any other type of reflect, the reflect won't do any damage. So you actually need to use the guns. Then once you beat the turrets, we are going to lure the ads back into that hallway and stack on the left-hand side.
Please, no, let me go.
Forget Tharlog. We should just kill these whiners.
Corpses lead to questions. These whiners know too much. They need to vanish.
So I pull the trash mobs with my longbow, and then we stack in the corner. I recommend just blinding these guys. If you blind them, just keeping them constant blind, you should be fine. Then I'm going to go ahead and pull the boss in the last ad. The main gimmick with the boss is that he'll throw down a bunch of bombs. So having reflex is very useful. You can see all those red AoE circles. Those can all be reflected back into him. We saw these lag spikes really annoying in this path. I apologize for that. Thankfully, we survived. Alright, and coming up is what I think is the hardest part of the dungeon, is this spike trap. And once you get to the other side, there are a bunch of bombers attacking you. I initially tried to stealth my group across, but I get a bit timid there and run into some traps. So I stealth half the group, and then just longbow 5 across. Once you get across, throw up your reflex and blinds to help the other group members get across. And I don't think there's a way to turn off those traps, which is what I think makes it the hardest part of the dungeon. Everyone has to make it across. And if you don't make it far enough, then no one can revive you because you're in the middle of the traps. Thankfully, this guy is pretty far, so we end up reviving him. Now, as a small tip, and for your thieves, please don't put down any combo fields when I'm using that smokescreen stealth trick. I tell the elementalist not to do it at one point, but he still does. I know he wants to put area swiftness, but the stealth is much more important. So like in path 2, or yeah, in path, is it 2 or 1? I think path 1, where we go under this part, you want to do the same thing, just stealth up the ramp, and head under this area. You are meant to skip those guys, there are way too many for you to fight. I wish we stacked in the backhand corner. I think that's a better stacking place for my blinds and reflex. Unfortunately, our group isn't coordinated enough. These are just 4 random people I'm playing with here. Then there are 2 more ads in the hallway, which I recommend you fight. It makes it easier to stealth later on. The main gimmick with these 2 guys, there's an archer which will reflect his attacks, and this thug has stability. So I try to strip that boon as soon as I see it. Alright, and then just like in path 1, we are going to stealth past this part. So I tell my elementalist, please don't put down any combo fields. And he does anyway. We still make it across, but again, it's just very annoying when I'm trying to smoke screen stealth and he puts down his combo fields. Alright, so here we go.
I channeled the wind.
He still puts down that combo field. Thankfully my area stealth overrode it, but it's just very annoying. We're just going to stealth across. I want to use the smokescreen stealth trick and place my Shadow Refuge halfway in between to get more stealth. Again, even if you have stealth entering the Shadow Refuge, don't leave Shadow Refuge until the house is gone. It will strip your stealth if you leave it before it's done. Fortunately, one of our group members died and the other got downed. Try to stick as far right as you can. There are riflemen that hurt a lot if you go near them. I tell the warrior to go ahead and use vengeance to get close to us, and I go back and grab the mesmer who didn't make it. Then we're going to face these 3 riflemen. I recommend just throwing down your reflex and killing these riflemen. If for some reason you're crazy and you don't have any reflex in your group, try not to move, because they do more damage to moving targets. You can see who they're targeting by a little red circle under you. So if you see that circle, you can also dodge their attacks. After like 2 seconds, I think they'll shoot at you. Then, once we beat the rifleman, we're going to face the last boss. I switched to dagger because my sword pistol is less useful on a boss. He has Defiant, blinds are only 10% effective, so I go for DPS here. In terms of weapons, really, you want at least one melee weapon. He has an attack that reflects projectiles, so bring that melee weapon or bring a ranged weapon that doesn't use a projectile. Really, if you can stack right next to him. He has some bleed attacks which can hurt, but mainly he's just a tank into my boss. If you have a guardian, you should be able to survive no problem. So I go down there. Unfortunately, I don't have many condition removals in my dagger, so those bleeds eventually get to me. Alright, and then once you beat the Centaur boss, you are done. Thanks for watching, guys.